Gloria in Profundis by G.K. Chesterton. There has fallen on earth for a token, a god too great for the sky. He has burst out of all things and broken the bounds of eternity. Into time and the terminal land he has strayed like a thief or a lover, for the wine of the world brims over. Its splendor is split on the sand. Who is proud when the heavens are humble? Who mounts if the mountains fall? If the fixed stars topple and tumble and a deluge of love drowns all? Who rears up his head for a crown? Who holds up his will for a warrant? Who strives with the starry torrent when all that is good goes down? For in dread of such falling and failing, the fallen angels fell, inverted and insolent, scaling the hanging mountain of hell. But unmeasured of plummet or rod, too deep for their sight to scan, outrushing the fall of man is the height of the fall of God. Glory to God in the lowest, the spout of stars in spate, where thunderbolt thinks to be slowest and lightning fears to be late. As men dive for sunken gem, pursuing, we hunt and hound it. The fallen star has found it in the cavern of Bethlehem. This is a Christmas poem written by G.K. Chesterton, the early 20th century British journalist, poet, provocateur. And I think it's a good illustration of many of the formal qualities that are often found in popular poetry, even holiday poetry. Now, this topic of holiday literature can sometimes get rather precious and sometimes even banal. If we think about, Jingle Bells or Here Comes Santa Claus, we're getting into popular verse of the sort that many would call doggerel. And yet Chesterton, as an accomplished poet and writer himself, is putting in this rather jaunty and memorable, and some might say a little breezy poem, a lot of qualities of formal poetry that I think we can learn from. So we've been talking about iambic and trochaic meter and recognizing that ba-dum, 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 ba-dum rhythm of iambic meter, or bada, 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 bada rhythm of trochaic meter. But in Gloria and Profundis, Chesterton is employing several different types of meter, both 2-foot meters, iambs and trochees, but also 3-foot meters or triple meters, which would be anapests and dactyls. Listen to the first line again. There has fallen on earth for a token. Da 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 da. This da 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 at the beginning, we have unstressed, unstressed, stressed. There has fallen on earth for a token. This is what we would call an anapestic rhythmic pattern. Da 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 da. Though we have this unstressed syllable at the end of this first line. There is fallen on earth for a token. So it's actually da 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 da. This feels, and we talked about this when we did an introduction to the different types of metrical feet, this feels almost nursery rhyme-ish. And yet, the topic of this poem is God's descent to earth in Christian theology, and this focus on God coming down to what's low, that which is highest, sort of the paradisal or Olympian heights of ancient imagination, coming down to the lowest point in the Christian theology of Christmas. There has fallen on earth for a token, a God too great for the sky. He has burst out of all things and broken the bounds of eternity. So we can see in the first and third lines that it is read, we have that nice anapestic rhythm, da 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 da. But in the second and fourth lines, a God too great for the sky. That's iamb, anapests, da 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 da. So there's sort of a fluidity and a looseness to the metrical structures here, but Chesterton really had an ear for when you could vary up metrical patterns, but still make it memorable and help it flow and end very crisply. Now, you can't see it on the page. I do recommend you go look up this poem, Gloria and Profundis. The stanzas are 8 lines long, and they look like they're kind of constructed out of 2 quatrains each. Now, a quatrain is just a fancy word for a 4-line stanza. But these 8-line stanzas have sort of two different patterns of 4 that are bound together. So there's fallen on earth through a token, a God too great for the sky. He has burst out of all things and broken the bounds of eternity. We haven't talked about rhyme schemes yet, but you can hear that token, broken, sky, tie, or T, sky and eternity have sort of a slant rhyme with each other. We would call this an A-B-A-B rhyme scheme. And we would expect this to repeat in the last 4 lines of the stanza. But Chesterton does something very interesting. Into time and the terminal land, he has strayed like a thief or a lover. For the wine of the world brims over, its splendor is split on the sand. So we have land, lover, over, sand. So we had an A-B-A-B structure in the first 4 lines, token, sky, broken, tie. But now we have land, lover, over, sand. So it's an A-B-B-A rhyme scheme. These, very interestingly enough, if you study the history of the sonnet, the English tradition of the sonnet uses alternating rhymes, A-B-A-B, C-D, C-D, E-F, E-F, G-G. The Italian tradition of sonnets, and we'll go into this more in another video, I think, because it's a very fascinating history. The Italian form of the sonnet does A-B-B-A, A-B-B-A as its main rhyme structure in its first section. So you can either have these alternating rhymes, or you can have these kind of what we would call a chiastic structure of rhyme. The A rhyme is on the outside and the B rhyme is in the middle. But I think something else is going on here, which is really, really fun and a really, I think, cool way of illustrating the theological concept that's going on in this poem. We have A-B-A-B, and so we're set up to expect alternating rhyme. And then we have A-B-B-A. So this A rhyme that we would expect to come third in this second quatrain of this big old 8 syllables or 8-line stanza, we would expect land, lover, sand, over. But sand drops down into a place we don't expect. And the theme of the poem is the divine coming down unexpectedly to the human. So I hope you like this Christmas poem. You can go look at it. It's got some great theological meditations for Christmas in it, but it's doing something with form that I think is really interesting. And it's illustrating through its rhyme scheme and through this really fun and various meter, the theological principle it's talking about. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks so much for watching these videos this fall. Check out Chesterton as a poet. He's a great Christmas poet. I hope you keep learning about meter and rhyme. Maybe ask for some poetry for Christmas. Continue to read these highly structured pieces of art that remind us both what it means to be human and how we can take joy and delight in language. Merry Christmas.